Attention please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
After a rain-shortened game last night, another cool, gray, dreary day in the Bronx, but we are expecting baseball, as today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the Texas Rangers in the middle game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. The game last night, only 6 innings because rain shortened it, but what a 6 innings it happened to be for CC Sabathia. The Yankees won 5-1, but this was really all about their big left-hander.
And you wondered maybe if there was going to be a letdown after the near no-hitter against Tampa Bay. There was not. CC Sabathia was locked in right from the beginning, pounding the strike zone, getting ahead in the count. He had an outstanding changeup, picked up 9 strikeouts in this ball game, also had a good slider, a fastball that was located well, and it was just a totally dominant performance from the Yankees' #1 starter. Good fastball to Josh Hamilton. 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. More importantly, picks up the win.
Now, if you look at his 3 starts, he pitched very well in Boston until the end. He ran out of gas. Then that great start in Tampa Bay, and then obviously last night what he did against Texas. Now, Scott Feldman will go for the Rangers today. The Yankee starter is A.J. Burnett, and so far in 2 games he's been representative.
You know, he's pitched okay. He's given up some runs in the first inning in both of his starts, so the Yankees are going to look for him today maybe to have a better beginning to the ball game. You're going to see some of the strikeouts against the Boston Red Sox, a real good power curveball. But the one thing the Yankees liked in his last outing against the Rays, he was throwing the ball over the plate. He only had 1 strikeout. That was to Zobrist, but he was very economical, kept his pitch count down.
That's what he did against Boston. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs against Tampa Bay. 7 innings, 6 hits, and 2 runs, and he's right around the 92, 95 pitches in both of those starts, so he could get up to 100 today. Well, 59 years ago, Yankee Stadium took on a certain amount of class. The voice of Bob Shepard was heard for the first time. This is the anniversary of that first day that he was at the mic. That's coming up next on segment 2. Welcome back to segment 2, everybody. That's John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. 59 years ago today, the people of New York City for the first time heard the stentorian tones of Bob Shepard, the first day that he was ever behind the PA microphone at Yankee Stadium. And what a lineup that he introduced. It was the Yankees against the Red Sox on that day. And the Yankee lineup, well, it was a pretty special lineup. Jackie Jensen, Phil Rizzuto, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, Johnny Mize, Billy Johnson, Jerry Coleman, and Vic Raschi. And the first name that he ever introduced, because you always introduce the visiting team first, would be Dom DiMaggio, the leadoff batter for the Red Sox, and he played center field. Now, I've always wondered, John, a lot of people that play for the Yankees for the first time, they can't wait to hear their name announced by Bob Shepard. What was it like for you?
You know, it's special when you play for the Yankees to have Mr. Shepard introduce you at the old Yankee Stadium. But as a visiting player, it's also a thrill that you look forward to. And I was actually lucky enough to spend my first day in the major leagues in the old Yankee Stadium as a member of the Boston Red Sox. And I was so excited to be in the big leagues that I didn't even pay attention to how Mr. Shepard announced my name. But then coming back as a visiting player, it's the first thing you listen to when you walk up to the plate, and it just blows you away.
He said Flaherty. That was what made it special.
You know, and Jamie Reed is a trainer for the Texas Rangers, who the Yankees are playing today. He would always, it was like a big thrill for him. Now batting John Flaherty. You know, and like I said, as a visiting player, you get fired up because he's such a legendary voice. And as a home player, it even took it to another level.
Mr. Shepard is retired now at home. He's 99 years old, but we know he watches. We love you. We miss you. And that voice, well, we miss it, but we hear it every time Derek Jeter comes to bat. When we come back, we'll give our own lineups. First pitch, baseball next on Yes.
Performance.
On a cold, chilly Saturday afternoon, crowd still filing in the Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have taken the field. A.J. Burnett taking his warm-ups. We're taking a look at today's Rangers starting lineup presented by Lexus. Julio Bobon, the center fielder, will bat leadoff, batting second, and playing third, Michael Young. Josh Hamilton's in left, hitting third. Cleaning up and DHing, Vlad Guerrero. Nelson Cruz in right field will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing first base, Chris Davis. Joaquin Arias, the second baseman, will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Taylor Teagarden. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Texas Rangers going to go to work against right-hander A.J. Burnett today. His third start of the season. Take a look at his numbers. Pretty good. Representative so far. 1-0, 3.75. 6 strikeouts in 12 innings.
So he will make his third start. And he is ready to roll here at the stadium. Bourbon digs in. A.J. Burnett is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx as the big right-hander deals. Pitch is high and we are underway.
Take a look at our scouting report on A.J. Burnett. You wonder if there's going to be a sophomore surge. He won 13 games last year. You wonder if he gets that first year out of the way and the numbers will improve. Fixed the first inning. He's had some trouble in the first inning, but last outing he was under control.
There's a strike to Bourbon. And obviously when John says sophomore is a Yankee. This is his second year of a 5-year deal. Won a World Series his first year. There's a bunt. Burnett fields. Just gets Bourbon. Just got him. Mike DeMuro, the first base arm, kind of had a safe twitch and then raised his right arm.
But Bourbon has gotten off to a tough start. Hitting 097. You see A.J. barehands it, a little 3/4 sidearm throw. Mark Teixeira the good stretch. A good start for A.J.
Now coming into that at bat, as John said, 097. Only 2 eligible players have a lower batting average in the American League. Lyle Overbay of the Blue Jays and Mark Teixeira of the Yankees at 083. Here's Michael Young. And there's a strike. Kind of a cold, raw day here in New York City. The lights are on. A little bit earlier, the sun was trying to peek through. It looks like it's given up for the day. Gray clouds overhead. Almost has a feel of football weather. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 55 degrees, humidity 50%, wind 12 miles per hour, and it's cold and cloudy. Almost feels like the weather that we're going to have for the Pinstripe Bowl.
That 12-mile-an-hour wind is what gets you. It's a little chilly up here. Imagine it's a little worse out on the field.
Count 3-1.
You know, Michael, in that scouting report, I talked about a sophomore surge for A.J. And, you know, that first year as a Yankee, I'd say went pretty smooth for A.J. You know, didn't have a great year, 13-9, ERA just over 4. And you wonder if he can take it to another level. He really hasn't done it in his career. Maybe the second year with the Yankees will be that time.
Well, you talk to players that face him and they say that his stuff is filthy. I mean, that almost seems to be universal, which makes you wonder, why hasn't he been a 20-game winner consistently? He's never been able to really harness it and bring it together.
Well, I think that's the key, harnessing it. We saw a little bit of his last outing against Tampa. Really threw the ball over the plate, only had 92 pitches in that game.
Young might have helped him out. That pitch looked like it was outside, would have been ball 4.
Well, that's a secret with A.J. If you can get ahead in the count as a hitter, you're going to put some quality swings. And Dave Island, the pitching coach, really has been preaching confidence, and you see the numbers for the last 4 years. Big year in 08, 18-10.
Chopped slowly to third. It's a fair ball. It's going to be a base hit. So an infield single for Michael Young. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. We've already seen Alex Rodriguez at third. Let's take a look at the rest of the infield. The captain is at short. Cano's at second. Teixeira at first. In the outfield, Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher, that's left to right. Posada behind the plate. And Burnett on the mound. Teixeira won a Gold Glove with the Yankees last year. He won 2 with Texas in 05 and 06. Here's Josh Hamilton. Josh 9 hits in his last 25 at bats.
Take a look here. Michael Young rolls right over the top, and Alex Rodriguez does not have a play, just hoping this ball is going to get into foul territory. It does not. It'll be an infield hit for Michael Young.
Josh Hamilton, a couple of years ago when the All-Star game was at Yankee Stadium, electrified a crowd of 55,000 people like I've never seen anybody do it for a long stretch of time during the home run hitting contest. He sent moonshots. One almost left the ballpark, and just one after the other, these long home runs. Crowd oohing and eyeing. Great display of power. That one is lined to left field, and Gardner's there. Remember this, John? This was unbelievable stuff.
Well, I had a great seat at the ballpark with my 3 kids watching it, and the kids were oohing and eyeing. You can see Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, was impressed. And Josh really showed some personality, obviously putting on a display, but he had a good time with the New York fans.
He ended up being the runner-up in that home run derby because he wore himself out in the early rounds. That's an eclectic resume, I'll tell you that. Out of baseball for 3 years. Vlad Guerrero fouls it off.
We talked about Josh a little bit yesterday, that he's healthy now. He had a tough year last year. As you see the numbers for Guerrero, he's gotten off to a nice start to his Texas Rangers career, but he had some problems last year, a little surgery on the abdominal wall, and he said he's healthy, ready to go, looking for a rebound season. I actually, Michael, was lucky enough to watch Josh Hamilton take batting practice as a senior in high school before he got drafted, and I had never seen anything like that, obviously from a high school kid.
So even then,
you know, my college coach was from the Carolinas, and I'd go to hit with him before every spring training, and we went to a field, and Josh was there taking batting practice, and I had a couple of years in the big leagues at that point. I'd never seen anybody put on a display like he did. And then he got on the mound, was throwing about 92. We knew he was going to be special.
Runner goes on 0-2, pitches high, no throw. They didn't even cover, as Michael Young with a stolen base.
No chance for Jorge Posada, and you get Guerrero in an 0-2 count. You do not have to throw the ball anywhere near the strike zone. As a reputation, he will swing at whatever you throw up there. Bounce a curveball, go with a fastball up out of the zone. You have some choices.
Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez deep across the diamond, and that'll do it. So a scoreless first inning for A.J. Burnett. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Rangers nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat.
Introducing the all-new Kazashi from Suzuki.
Rangers have taken the field. Scott Feldman taking his warm-ups. Let's take a look at today's Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. The captain and the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and DHing Nick Johnson. Mark Teixeira's at first, Hill at third. Cleaning up playing third is Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano, the second baseman, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching Jorge Posada, the number 7 hitter. Center fielder Curtis Granderson. Nick Swisher's in right field. He's going to bat eighth. Batting ninth and playing left field is Brett Gardner.
Third base coach, number 59.
Well, here's Derek Jeter. Now, we're going to let you hear Bob Shepard introduce Derek Jeter. And
Now batting for the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
And that is per Derek's request. As long as he is a Yankee, he will come to the plate, introduced by the voice of Bob Shepard. 59 years ago today, he read his first lineup, and it was the Yankees against the Red Sox. First name he ever announced was Dom DiMaggio, and what a great Yankee lineup he announced. And as long as Derek Jeter is in pinstripes, that voice will live on. Bob watches the games, and we send out our best, and we miss seeing him around the ballpark, John.
Yeah, we miss hearing that voice. Hopefully, Bob, you're doing well at home watching this ball game, and a big treat to have my name announced at Yankee Stadium by Mr. Bob Shepard.
So here's Derek Jeter. Or as Mr. Shepard would say, Jeter. Pitch outside.
Take a look at the numbers for Scott Feldman. It'll be his 3rd start of the year. He's gotten off to a nice start. Look at the 14 innings, only 1 walk. Opponents hitting .231 against him. A decent fastball, a good cut fastball. occasional slider. Take a look at our scouting report. He is the ace of the staff, the opening day starter, and a road warrior. He won 12 games last year on the road, which is a franchise record for the Rangers, and he does not beat himself. I talked about it. 14 innings, only 1 walk. And already when you watch him pitching to Derek Jeter, he's got a little two-seamer that'll run in on Derek, a cutter that'll cut away. Tough at bat.
Count 2-2. Jeter got his first inning hit yesterday of the year, but he has a 10-game hitting streak. The 2-2. Right back to Feldman. Nice play. And there's one away. Let's take a look at the Rangers' entire defensive schematic, brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, Hamilton, Bourbon, and Cruz. That's left to right. In the infield, Young, Andrus, Arias, and Davis. That's third to first. Andrus, a shortstop, slick fielder. 3 errors already this season. Teagarden behind the plate, and Feldman on the mound. There were some plays yesterday that were scored base hits that really should have been scored errors. And a couple of the Ranger announcers actually asked Bill Shannon, the official scorer, what he was thinking. And Shannon said, well, it was a wet field. You know, it was rain. He was taking that into account. And Ron Washington had that information relayed to him. He said, come on, this is the big leagues. He said, you have to make those plays. He said, we shouldn't have given up a run. He said, at the most 1 run if we make the plays.
And a lot of talk with Ron Washington and his ball club competing in the American League West this year. And early on, the defense has been a struggle. But their starting rotation is fantastic. They're happy with their bullpen. You figure they're going to hit with the middle of that lineup. They've got to tighten up the defense. Nick Johnson, 11 walks. I'm not real proud of that batting average, but that will increase as the year goes on. And this was last night, some of the sloppy play that Michael was talking about. Michael Young throws a low throw over to first base, and then a ball to his left. He should have made that play. Davis hits Nick Swisher in the back, leads to a couple of runs, and C.J. Wilson, the starting pitcher, not able to come up with that.
The 2-2. Missed inside.
Look at the velocity for Feldman, 89 miles an hour, but he's got a nice little action at the end of his pitches as Alex Rodriguez looking on. A little cutter in on the hands of the lefty. He's got a two-seamer to go away.
Nick Johnson keeps on walking. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. And here's Mark Teixeira. Mark certainly struggling. There's no secret to that. And he needs to get off the schneid. 3 for 36. And all 3 of those hits a week ago today against Tampa Bay. I asked Joe Girardi today, did it start mental and turn into something mechanical? He said, I don't think it started mental. He said, but I got to be honest, right now it is mechanical. He said his whole bottom is out of whack. He goes, he'll work it out. Nobody seems to be nervous about it lasting long term.
That's the one thing when you watch Mark and some of the pitches that he's had to hit, he's kind of working underneath, and that backside, his back leg, really collapsing, and that causes the bat head to drop. Decent numbers against Feldman, 3 for 10 with a homer in his career.
Why does the back leg collapse? Are you trying to generate more power?
I just think his front stride is probably a little bit too long, and that causes the backside to collapse a little bit. And we talked a little last night. You know what you're doing. You go in the batting cage, you work on it. It's tough to take it from the cage underneath the stadium out to the field in game competition.
Count 2-2.
He did the same thing early last year, and even when Alex Rodriguez wasn't active, he was getting pitches to hit, and he was working underneath and popping them up. Kevin Long has been on top of it, trying to get it straightened out. It's only a matter of time.
Strike three. Teixeira down looking. And you can see he's even confused and taking pitches right now. He's looking at a lot of pitches.
Yeah, it seemed last night he was having trouble picking the ball up. This is just a great pitch, though. A backdoor cut fastball. I mean, perfect location on the outside corner. DJ Rayburn makes the call, and Mark Teixeira knew it.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. Now, Alex, not off to a terrible start, but you look at the home run total, no home runs. That's in 39 at-bats. It's the longest streak at the start of a season for A-Rod in 15 years. 1995, he went 49 at-bats before his first home run. But Girardi said, I'm not concerned. He said, because he's gotten some hits for us and he's driven in some big runs. He said the home runs will come. Hey, it's hard to be concerned when your team is 7-3.
I was just going to say, you gotten off to a nice start as a team. You have some guys struggling. Alex, I mean, hitting home runs, you know that's going to happen.
There's a hot shot, base hit through the left side.
And Alex, one of those hitters, once he finds that home run stroke, he seems to go a week where he hits, you know, a bunch of home runs. And a good sinking fastball moving in on his hands. See him just keep his hands inside and smoke this ball to left field. Nice simple short swing.
That's a pretty gaudy average, 390. Shows he's not walking much. You want a negative, John? He only has a 395 OBP. So Nick Johnson's at second and Alex Rodriguez over at first. Two men out. Just underway at the stadium. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Pitch inside, 1-0.
You know, this is kind of like Curtis Granderson when he faces a left-hander. You're going to pay attention to Robinson Cano and what he does with runners in scoring position. See 27 straight April games.
It's the longest in American League history, and it's one game shy of the longest in baseball's modern era. And who was that? It was Dan McGann, a first baseman for the New York Giants. He had hits in 28 straight games during April from 1903 to 1906. Dan McGann.
Dan McGann. I love that last name.
Grounded foul.
We talked about you pay attention to Robinson Cano and what he does with runners in scoring position. Had a tough year last year in that department. Early on, 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. So not terrible, not fantastic.
It's also funny that he had such a tough time last year hitting in the low 200s. They still drove in 85 runs, spending most of the season at the bottom of the order. Grounded softly to second base. Arias to Andrus, and that will do it. No runs are hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We've played one at the stadium. There's no score here on Yes. Event for special leases on all Honda cars and trucks. By NYSERDA. Go to ShiningExampleNY.com to find out how you can be in one of our next TV commercials. And by the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. Well, we go to the second inning, and Nelson Cruz is going to lead off against A.J. Burnett.
Let's take a look at our Home Depot hitters scouting report on Nelson Cruz. Can he take it to the next level? The Rangers think that he can. At 33 home runs, 76 RBIs last year. So there's some room for improvement in the RBI department, and he's out of the gate early. 6 home runs, 12 RBIs would lead the league, and he has a new responsibility, protecting Vladimir Guerrero in this lineup, and he's been up to the task so far.
Pretty gaudy numbers. Leads the American League with 6 homers, 12 ribbies, and a 1,000 slugging percentage. He is hitless in his last 8 at-bats, though, and shows bunt, takes a strike.
He can show bunt all he wants. I think AJ and Jorge Posada would say, go ahead. Get off to a start like that, and he squares the bunt. First pitch.
Swing and a miss.
You know, the first thing you look at, Michael, I mean, obviously he's got plenty of power, but he's got a little open stance with his front foot. And as a catcher or a pitcher or a pitching coach, when you go over scouting reports, you want to see how much that front foot is going to move towards home plate. There might be room inside, but he doesn't overstride towards home plate. He's pretty much even. And Clint Hurdle, the new hitting instructor for the Rangers. It'll be a lot of fun to work with this young man. Some hitters who get so open here with that front foot and they close it off and they lock themselves up.
Just missed outside. Clint Hurdle, the longtime manager of the Rockies, relieved of his duties in the middle of last year. And here he is, the hitting coach of the Rangers. 1-2. 2-2.
A little broadcasting last year as well, right?
I think so.
Does it all, Clint Hurdle.
He was replaced by Jim Tracy, who ended up becoming manager of the year and leading the Rockies into the playoffs. Now a lot of people pick the Rockies to go to the World Series this year. The 2-2. Fouled away. Clint Hurdle was actually the National League manager when the All-Star game was at Yankee Stadium a couple of years ago. He took the Rockies to the World Series. The 2-2. Hurdle was one of those guys that was classified as a can't-miss prospect on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but it shows you that baseball is probably the toughest sport to predict stardom, because everybody thought he was going to be a huge star, and it didn't work out that way. Burnett deals the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball right by him. One away. Well, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Let's look at today's question. Which of the 4 current Rangers acquired in the Teixeira trade with the Braves will have the best career? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Here are your choices. They got a nice haul for him. They really did. Elvis Andrus, Neftali Felice, Matt Harrison, and Jared Saltalamacchi, the catcher, who's on the DL right now. Braves acquired him for that big prize package because they felt that, you know, he went to Georgia Tech and they'd have a chance of signing him, but then they got the sense that they couldn't. He ends up getting traded to the Angels. They wanted to sign him, but he wanted to play on the East Coast and ended up with the Yankees. Davis fouls it back.
Looks like AJ has a pretty good fastball early on in this ball game. Tell by some of the reaction of the Ranger hitters that it's got a little life at the end.
One 1-2.
AJ gonna miss with that fastball there. You can see Jorge Posada wanted it on the inner half, and it kind of rode out over the plate. Setting up inside. Davis likes to extend his arms. He actually got a pitch up out over the plate. He could have done some damage, but was still late. Tells you about the life on the fastball from AJ Burnett today.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on a breaking ball in the dirt. Posada throws it to first for the putout. 2 strikeouts this inning.
Good job by AJ and Jorge Posada there. They got Davis sped up with the fastball. He was late, so he had to cheat a little bit. Dropped a little power curveball down and in. Perfect location, swings over the top. Nice block by Posada.
So Davis now 2 for his last 13. Here's Joaquin Arias, who has a 6-game hitting streak, during which time he's 12 for 23. Grounded to third. Nice hop for Rodriguez, and a nice easy 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Burnett. So the Rangers go down in order, and we go to the bottom of the second. No score.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
1951, the same day that Bob Shepard broke in, Mickey Mantle broke in, makes his major league debut. He goes 1 for 4 in a 5-0 win over the Red Sox. Start of a Hall of Fame career. As Mickey's monument out in Monument Park. John and I were out there before the game. It's really a beautiful area for fans. Take a look at the Mick and some of his glory. Incredible switch hitter. Just an iconic figure in Yankee history. Battered with bad knees. You could see the way he ran toward the end of his career, but still blinding speed. Mickey Mantle.
Love that plaque, Michael. The first thing it says, a great teammate. Sums it up.
Here's Jorge Posada against Scott Feldman. Line drive, base hit. Boy, is Posada locked in at the start of this season.
Jorge had last night off. Francisco Cervelli caught CC Sabathia, and he comes right back. His first at bat, a little cutter on the inner half. Doesn't try to do too much and pull it. He hits it to right center field. Staying his approach up the middle. A little bit quick, so he pulls it to right center.
Here's Curtis Granderson. And there's a strike.
Curtis Granderson had to run to the ballpark today facing Feldman. He's 4 for 6 with 3 home runs in his career. You're a player, you know those numbers. Picks up the ball well coming out of his hand.
What pitcher was it for you, John?
Aaron Seeley.
Really?
Yep.
That's a quality pitcher.
I was lucky enough to catch him in AAA with the Red Sox, so I just felt like I knew everything he was going to throw and what pitch count. Saw the ball well out of his hand.
High fly ball, deep center, Bourbon back. It's in the ballpark, right in front of the warning track for the first out. We've seen some balls really spanked on this homestand that have not gone out. In fact, 2 games already here this year have been homerless games. And all of last year, the first year of the new Yankee Stadium, there was only 1 game where neither team hit a home run. And I asked Joe Girardi, is it playing differently? He said it's actually playing more like it did toward the second half of the year last year. He said, but there have been a lot of strong winds blowing straight in this year. He said, so that might be it as well.
That's what I thought last night. The wind was really howling in, and right when Curtis hit that ball, I looked up at the flags. They're not doing a whole lot today. But it's hard to explain, Michael. I don't even know if you can. I mean, the old stadium, when the summer came around, the ball really jumped. We expected that to happen here last year. It didn't. And the home runs not leaving at the pace they did early last year.
Now, those are the flags that Girardi said he looks at. He does not look at the main flagpole out in left center field. Doesn't look at that. He said we look at the flags rimming the top of the stadium. Those are more indicative of where the wind is blowing. Swisher swings and misses. There was also a lot of conjecture last year, John, that when the old ballpark across the street would come down, that the wind currents would be different, and that they would kind of knock off the wind currents that would come off the third base side and blow out toward right. Now, most of the old ballpark is actually down. Don't know if that's happening or not. Joe Girardi today was actually asked about what's going on across the street, because you look at it, it's very odd. Most of the stadium is down. That's all that's left. And Joe said it's actually shocking. He said, because you don't see a lot of clear spaces in the Bronx. He said you drive by and then there's this big huge space in the Bronx, and most of the old girl is coming down, and you look right there at the new one. But Joe said it's actually shocking to see, because they hadn't seen it in a while. They came back from spring training, and then they drive to the ballpark, and I think when the Yankees left for spring training, most of the old ballpark was still up, and it's certainly, most of it's down now.
They said it came down in a hurry, right, over a span of a couple of weeks.
I had read, John, in a newspaper that that's the single hardest building to ever tear down in New York because of the proximity to the subway. They couldn't implode it because of the subway tracks right near it. The 1-2. I'm rifling through my mind's Rolodex, John, and I went over every single at bat you had against Sealy, and I came up that you were 9 for 19 against Aaron Sealy. 3 of the 9 home runs, 474.
I remember those 3 home runs. I was actually negotiating a long-term deal with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. Faced Aaron Sealy, hit 2 home runs in a ball game, and agreed to the contract right after the game.
Did you give Aaron a little bit of a...
I said, thank you very much, Aaron. He did okay by himself. He did all right.
And that deal was such a long-term deal that you're up here now just as a hobby. You don't even have to work. Fouled away.
Do it just because I enjoy working with you, learning things.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Joe Girardi used to be up here, but he didn't learn things from me, so he decided to manage the team. (3-2). Well, every time you look up, Nick Swisher is 3-2. I mean, every time.
Well, I was just reading some body language of Scott Feldman, too, and we talked about it earlier. He throws a lot of strikes, but you can tell he's getting a little frustrated here early on because the Yankees are fouling off pitches. You mentioned Nick Swisher. 10th pitch coming in this at bat. Mike Maddox, a pitching coach. The only way you can attack this Yankee lineup is throw the ball over the plate. Feldman is doing it. The Yankee hitter is spoiling a lot of good pitches.
3-2. Breaking ball, strike 3. Obviously, Swisher looking for something hard. He was frozen on that one and dropped it in there for a strike.
And Feldman doesn't throw a lot of curveballs. Throw a lot of cutters and sinkers, but there he just locates it perfectly on the outer half. Good 12-6 movement.
Here's Brett Gardner. Brett has not started the last couple of games as the Yankees have faced a couple of lefties. Scott Kazmir and C.J. Wilson, and Marcus Tim started those games on left and actually got 2 hits apiece. Actually, Marcus, one of the games he was a DH and Randy Wynn was in left. But last night Tim's was in left field.
Well, Marcus has been doing a good job against the lefties. Picked up a couple of hits last night. Brett Gardner has got to find these opportunities against right-handers when he gets a chance to start. Take advantage. Look at Marcus looking on. He'll be ready to pinch hit later in this ball game, I'm sure.
Gardner could not hold up. Ball cutting in on him quickly in the count 1-2.
Take a look from the side. You can see that Brett takes a little half swing. And that's that late cut that you're talking about, Michael. It gets to the plate, looks like it's going to be a straight fastball.
just missed outside. Feldman against the Yankees, lifetime 3 starts, 1 relief appearance, 2-1, 3.72 ERA. The 2-2. Dribbled slowly, first base side. Feldman with the throw, and it pulls Davis off the bag. And the Rangers' shoddy fielding continues.
You can see Feldman comes to the line. His momentum is taking him behind Brett Gardner, and he tries to throw it back across his body to Davis. He probably would have been better off doing the little underhand flip. It's going to be ruled an infield hit. And I'm sure the speed of Brett Gardner had something to do with this as Feldman rushes a throw and just yanks it. Davis does a nice job coming off the base just to make sure he fields it. But again, the Texas Rangers not representing themselves well with their defense.
Here's Jeter. Grounded back to the mound in the first inning. Swing and a miss. Count 0-1. Yankees have scored 3 or more runs in all 10 of their games this year. And it's the first time they've done that since they scored 3 or more runs in the first 15 games in 2000. A year they went on to win the World Series against the Mets. But Texas trying to hold them under that. Texas's ERA as a staff 2.18, which is the lowest in the big leagues. An American League team that pitches half of its games in Texas has the lowest ERA.
Well, right now, if you're Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, I mean, you got pretty much everybody firing except Nick Johnson and Mark Teixeira. Gardner off to a little slow start. But if you can have 6 or 7 of your regulars really swinging the bat well, it's going to lead to those numbers that you just talked about. A lot of switch hitters in the lineup, tough for a pitcher to navigate through.
That's what makes the 7-3 start so impressive. Nick Johnson hasn't hit, Teixeira hasn't hit, and Alex Rodriguez isn't hitting home runs yet. Now you almost pencil them in for the numbers they always get, and if that happens, that's a formidable lineup without a place to land for a pitcher.
Alex Rodriguez asking Jorge Posada to get a bigger secondary lead.
It's amazing, John, how locked in he is during games. People say when he's watching the game, he's actually studying it. He's not just watching it like as a fan. Occasionally he'll laugh like that, but he is studying every move out there.
Now, and it's the little things that Alex picks up on, like Jorge, you know, if you get a bigger secondary lead off of second base with 2 outs here and 2 strikes, once you see Derek Jeter pull the trigger, you can take off because you know he's either going to strike out or put the ball in play. And that little half step might be the difference in scoring a run here with 2 outs.
2-2. Grounded through for a base hit. Let's see if he can score. Cruz comes up, and they're going to hold Posada. Cruz has a good arm. Posada doesn't run well. So the bases are loaded.
But Derek Jeter hits this ball well, and you said it, Michael. Cruz has a great throwing arm. Let's check out Jorge Posada. A little flat-footed when he sees the ball is put into play. Robbie Thompson all the way down the line. No chance. Derek Jeter hits this ball pretty well, and Cruz does a nice job of charging and a strong throwing arm.
Derek now has an 11-game hitting streak. He has hit in every single game this year. And Mike Maddox goes out and talks with Feldman.
You know, this has got to be driving Feldman crazy, too. I mean, he did a great job with Gardner making a tough pitch with 2 strikes, and he just couldn't make the play defensively. Then you get Derek Jeter coming up. He gets a base hit. Now you're looking at bases loaded with Nick Johnson. You probably could have been out of this jam with maybe 8 pitches ago. He made a play in the field.
Here's Nick Johnson. He walked in the first inning. And there's a strike.
Yeah, Michael, I fully expect Nick Johnson to become more aggressive as this year goes on. I mean, he took a first pitch strike right down the middle. And I mean, the longer you're going to hit in front of Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez, you're going to get a lot of good pitches to hit.
Good numbers with the bases loaded. Only 2 grand slams, but a .371 average. Posada's at third. Gardner is at second. Jeter's at first. Feldman at 50 pitches here in the second inning. The 1-1. 2-1.
See, this is a pitch right here if you're Nick Johnson. I mean, you look for something on the inner half and really get aggressive. He has not done it early in his career. He loves to hit the ball the other way, but you got to figure you're going to get so many good pitches to hit in RBI situations with those guys behind you.
And now Feldman's really in trouble with a 3-1 count and the bases loaded.
You're Feldman right now. You got to throw it down the middle with a little bit of movement. You pick your side of the plate. A little sinker maybe, possibly a little cutter. Take your chances.
And the count full at 3-2. That releases the runners. 3-2 and 2 outs. Mark Teixeira is on deck. Now with Feldman, the high pitch count. Usually pitchers are trained to go about 15, 17 pitches an inning. Also, they don't really experience 15-minute half innings. And this is a 30-pitch inning thus far. Runners go. 3-2. And the inning gets a little longer. It'd almost be like asking a boxer to go, all right, give me a 5.5-minute round instead of a 3-minute round.
You can tell with the body language of Feldman, the Yankees are wearing him down. I mean, he's just showing you his shoulders are starting to drag a little bit. Making good pitches. They're fouling him off. What do I have to do?
3-2. Check swing. .38-year-old Jorge Posada doesn't need all those starts and stops for no reason. 33rd pitch this inning. 55 overall. The infield single by Gardner. He certainly did not help himself defensively. .3-2 again, and he walked him, and that'll force in a run. Yankees lead 1-0. You can only take so many body blows, John, and sooner or later you're going to throw something that you don't want to throw.
Kind of a borderline high pitch, but Nick Johnson has great eye at the plate. That's up pretty good, I guess. Teagarden tries to steal a strike there. It's not going to work.
Johnson's 13th walk already this year. And here is Mark Teixeira. Good spot for him to break out of this extended slump. He struck out looking in the first inning. Fouled away.
Like his attitude, though. You come up there, you know you got a pitcher on the ropes. You've been struggling a little bit. Be aggressive. Get a good pitch early and let it fly. Try to get rid of those mechanical thoughts in your mind. Go up there trying to do some damage.
Nice breaking ball.
See, but when you're struggling like Mark is, it's the borderline pitch right there that does not go your way. And now all of a sudden you're in the hole 0-2. I mean, that pitch could have went either way. Maybe came around the plate, but when you're struggling like Mark, you don't get the call. Now you're really in battle mode.
The 0-2 popped up behind the plate and out of play. Mark has walked 10 times, on base percentage of .277, hitting .081. Shattered bat and a ground ball right side. Smothered there by Arias. Everybody safe. A base hit for Teixeira. Gardner scores, and the Yankees lead 2-0. Maybe that sort of hit is something that could actually break him out of his slump. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch, brought to you by Suzuki Kazashi.
First pitch fastball. Mark trying to be aggressive. Here's the borderline strike. Fastball up, and then a cutter shatters Mark Teixeira's bat. Going to be rewarded with an infield hit, an RBI. And if you're Mark Teixeira, you're thinking, you know what, that's the hit that might get me going. So he gets that foot down early, and the cutter in on the hand shatters his bat. He will take it.
Feldman, 37 pitches so far this inning, and the Rangers have to get their bullpen up. They're one swing away from Alex Rodriguez making this game 6-0. High drive. Did not get it. Bourbon is there, and he will put it away for the final out of the bottom of the second. But the Yankees get on the board. 2 runs on 4 hits, and the bases are left loaded. 2-0 Bombers. Joe Girardi was very interested to find out today that Curtis Granderson is having a hard time tracking the ball here at Yankee Stadium. The background, it's tough to pick up the baseball, he's saying. Kimberly Jones joins us. She's in the third base camera pit here at the stadium. And Kim, I know you spoke to Curtis. What's the deal?
Yeah, I did talk to him, especially after the manager seemed so surprised, Michael. Curtis said, first of all, it has nothing to do with his vision, which is fine. And he said it has nothing to do with the day or night sky. He said it's more the low liner that is blending into the gray background of this stadium. He said he's missed a couple in the air, but been lucky enough to catch him. You wouldn't know he's having problems by the defense he's playing, but he did say he thinks the wind, perhaps the time of year, is affecting it. He said, I was here in last July as a member of the Tigers, played center field and didn't notice it, so he's thinking it might change a bit as the summer arrives.
Now, he's not the only guy who feels like this, which makes him feel a little bit better, right, Kim?
Yes, he has company in this. He's checked with Brett Gardner, who says, yes, both in center field and in left field, I feel the same way. He also asked Torrey Hunter, and Torrey said, yeah, man, you hit a fly ball that I thought was a fly ball. It dropped in because Torrey lost track of it mid-flight. So he feels a little bit better about that. He also said at the plate, there are some balls that are hit that aren't carrying like he thought they might. Last inning, we might have seen an example of that. I'll have to check with Curtis. But he said Bobby Abreu in particular hit a ball. Curtis was able to track it down in the center left gap. Abreu told him later, you didn't have to catch that. I thought it was a double. Granderson said, yeah, I thought it was a double too.
Well, Kim, I like the fact that you just channeled Al Leiter when you went, yes.
But I haven't had a Red Bull.
No, not yet. Thanks for the report. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, that's Kim Jones. As Teagarden fouls it back. You know what's funny, John, is a lot of people, you know, they'll look at a baseball, and we have one up here, and this is called a pearl, the one we have. It isn't rubbed up at all. But once a baseball's in a game and it's rubbed up, it's a different color, and it looks kind of gray.
You're right. It will mix in with the concrete background, and you can understand what Curtis is talking about, maybe not picking the ball up off the swing. The good thing is, and Kim said this, he hasn't struggled in the outfield because he's so athletic. He hasn't gotten great jumps, but he can outrun it with his speed.
Teagarden, who was 0 for 16, walked. Now, those are the game-used balls, and they're rubbed up with mud. Those are actually used during a batting practice, but those are rubbed up with mud, and so the pitcher could get a different grip. If they had a ball right out of the box, which is called a pearl, like the one we have up here, they wouldn't be able to grip the baseball.
No, it'd be a little slick, and the pitchers obviously want to have a better grip. Catchers as well. Everybody wants to have a good grip on the baseball.
But up here, we really don't need a good grip.
No, you're a guy who likes to scuff it up a little bit, give it some movement.
Here's Elvis Andrus. 9 hits in his last 21 at-bats.
AJ's got to be kicking himself a little bit walking Teagard, and he hasn't had a hit all year, known more as a defensive catcher than an offensive guy. Rangers looking for Saltalamacchia to come back off the DL. You wonder if that long layoff, the Yankees had a long offensive half inning, maybe affected AJ coming out here for that first batter of the third.
Runner goes. Hit and run was on. Foul back. Now the Yankees in this new ballpark actually have room behind the dugout for a pitcher to throw. You'd think that because of the inning was going long that he would throw back there. You just don't know when it's going to end, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough. I've never seen a pitcher throw in between innings. I've seen a pitcher throw in a batting cage when there's been maybe like a game last night where there's a rain delay, and then you find out, you know what, we're going to be going here in 20 minutes. Maybe you go off the mound in a batting cage. Now I've never seen it in between innings.
Count 2-1. Dave Island working with Javier Vasquez today, and Andy Pettit got some throwing in as well.
Phil Hughes was throwing his side session in the bullpen. I think what Dave's biggest concern, it's not a concern with AJ, is kind of getting in his head and saying, you know what, your stuff is good enough just to challenge people down the middle of the plate. Don't have to be so fine. I think he was a little bit too tentative that last outing against Tampa in the first inning, and then he really settled down.
24 strikes, 16 balls. I mean, AJ's, 33 years old. You would think that somebody would have gotten to him. I guess there's got to be a voice that he's going to finally accept. I mean, everybody in baseball says this stuff is filthy nasty, and it doesn't have to be that fine, but it's the way you say it, I guess, before it sinks in. But you would think that if it was going to sink in, it would have sunk in by now.
You would think, but he's just such a, for a pitching coach like Dave Island, it's just got to be an incredible challenge because you have so much to work with. I mean, great fastball, strikeout pitch with the curveball. He's working on a changeup. He worked on it in spring training. Haven't seen it a whole lot, maybe 4 times his last outing against Tampa. But everything is there to have a big year, especially with this offense with the Yankees.
Two. Strike 3. Paints the outside corner. Andrus down looking. Tomorrow on Yes, don't miss an all-new WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. The Yankee skipper recaps all the excitement of the home opening series against the Angels and the Rangers, plus a look ahead to the Bombers' West Coast road trip. It's all new tomorrow at 5, and it's only on Yes.
We talk about being aggressive. This pitch is just perfect. I mean, you can't do anything with that if you're Andrus. Down, away, perfect strike.
Strike 2, Bourbon starts him off. He tried to bunt to get on in the first inning. Gunned down by Burnett just by a hair. And the 0-1. That one gets past Posada as Teagard moves to second.
Like Jorge was looking for a little sinker. You could see him setting up away, and AJ just yanks it to the middle of the plate. He scored a wild pitch.
What do you think?
No, that's a play that a catcher has to make. Wild pitches usually in the dirt, they bounce. Anything that kind of crosses home plate and doesn't hit the dirt is, I think, a play that a catcher should make.
Last year, AJ led the league in wild pitches. He was first in walks. King Felix also had 17 wild pitches. Felix Hernandez of the Mariners. 1-1. Foul back.
Borbona's gotten off to a tough start, 0.94 coming into this at bat, but he's #1 draft pick of these Texas Rangers in 07 out of the University of Tennessee. He's going to get a chance to play every day. They like his speed, his athleticism.
Count 2-2. Posada did not catch last night. Francisco Cervelli, a second straight start with Sabathia, and boy, they teamed up very well. But Joe Girardi said today, I like my backup catcher to catch only one guy. He said so you could get to know him. But Cervelli does know Sabathia very well. He caught him 10 times last year. He said so we're not going to go with him catching just one guy. Grounded to second base. Cano gets in front of it. 2 away as Teagarden moves to third.
Thinking back to that game last night with CC Sabathia, it was a clinic on everything you would want to do as a pitcher. Get ahead in the count, expand the strike zone to pick up some strikeouts, 9 and 6 innings. I thought his best pitches last night were his changeup and slider. The fastball didn't have that great velocity, but he was ahead in the count all night. And off to a great start.
And he's usually not a great April pitcher. Won 19 games last year, struggled a bit in April, but he's 2-0, 2.84. And the one game that he didn't win, he didn't lose, that was against the Red Sox. And he pitched very well till he ran out of gas. So his stuff is there. It's usually not this refined this early. Michael Young with a fly ball to right. Drifting back is Nick Swisher. And that's going to do it here in the third. So the walk does not hurt. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Yanks. Anaheim, and then 3 games in Baltimore. So a 9-game, 10-day road trip. One of the longer trips of the year. They get it out of the way before the end of April.
And Oakland has gotten off to a great start this year. I guess maybe a little bit surprising in the American League West.
Great pitching, John.
Yeah. I'll be on that trip. I'll take care of that for you, Michael.
Thank you, thank you.
Or I'll be on the West Coast part of the trip.
Yep. You and Kenny, right?
Yes.
Here's Robinson Cano. Grounded up the middle. Right there is Arias. And there's 1 away.
Well, Feldman needs a nice quick inning. His pitch count through the roof here just into the 3rd inning. Threw 117 pitches his last outing in 7 innings. So he's looking for a little rebound inning here in the 3rd. 62 pitches already.
Here's Posada. And a strike. Since the start of the 2000 season, Posada leads all catchers in home runs with 201, RBI 779, and doubles with 278. Also won a couple of World Series in that time, and 4 American League pennants. And you see numbers like that, John, and I'm telling you, people kind of raise their eyebrows when you say this. He's in the Hall of Fame discussion.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely in the discussion. And even when you're around the ballpark and you talk to some of the scouts who are here scouting the games, and today the comment was, I mean, when is this guy going to slow down offensively? 38 years old. Ball still jumping off his bat. 245 home runs career, almost 1,000 RBIs.
And a member of 5 World Series teams.
Yeah. How many All-Stars?
I'm not sure about that. And also, there's always a debate about 5 World Championship teams because he actually was not on the roster of the World Series team in '96. But he did make 5 All-Star teams. We looked that up. But he was on the '96 team throughout the season, just wasn't on the postseason roster. But he certainly was a big contributor in every single other World Series.
5 Silver Slugger awards.
And another base hit.
We talk about Mariano Rivera, and everybody's like, when is this guy going to slow down? Jorge Posada in that same discussion.
That's a milestone hit for Jorge. 1,500th hit. And the Yankees know they're going to get him that baseball. Teagarden will throw it out. And that'll go in for safekeeping. No! Just threw it in that bucket.
Stevie Donahue, the trainer's got to get on that ball there.
I hope he finds it. He's digging in right now, the kid. He just threw it in the bucket with the other balls. Good luck. You think Jorge's going to be a little chapped when he finds it out?
He won't know the difference.
He does now. We're talking about it. Moves Granderson off the plate. Count 1-2. Hit one hard in the second inning. Drove Bourbon near the warning track in center field. Count 2-2.
Well, Feldman knows those good numbers we talked about with Curtis Granderson. Changing it up a little bit. Went with a changeup and a curveball there.
Way outside. Last 3 seasons, Granderson, no one in the American League had more than his 206 extra base hits. Triples, doubles, 30 home runs last year. Three-two. Served into left field. That is going to be a base hit. Cutting over is Hamilton. Cuts the ball off. Going to third is Posada. He's in there. And Granderson has himself a double. So another extra base hit for Curtis Granderson.
Nice job of hitting here at 3-2 count. It gets a fastball, little sinker, stays on it. Look at the head down. Not just slapping it the other way either. I mean, this ball has something on it. Hamilton does a nice job getting to it. Jorge Posada took a huge turn around second base. Josh Hamilton has a strong throwing arm. Watch Jorge coming around second base, takes a big wide turn, now kicks it into another gear.
And Ron Washington out on the mound. They've had action in the bullpen for a while, so I don't know if he's going to take the ball from him. Looks like he is, and Feldman doesn't seem happy. So the high pitch count, 73 here in the third inning, finally gets to Feldman. Ron Washington wants to keep it right here because he sees how well A.J. Burnett's throwing. So he goes to the bullpen. We'll be back. Tomorrow, the Yankees close out this weekend series with the Rangers right here at Yankee Stadium. Coverage starts at 12:30 with the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then join John and I again for the call. That's the Rangers and the Yankees. That's tomorrow at 12:30 only on Yes. Well, Ron Washington makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T, a better 3G experience. So Scott Feldman, it's kind of weird watching him pitch today, John. He didn't get roughed up. He gave up just 2 runs. But I think that second inning with all those pitches really just wiped him out.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Washington giving him a little break today. We talked about it. He's their ace. He's their #1 guy. But I think the Yankees just wore him out. And if you think about that Brett Gardner infield base hit, if he makes that play, he gets out of that inning. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I mean, like you said, he didn't get beat up, but he had to work awfully hard.
Now here's Doug Mathis, and Mathis will decide whether or not Feldman gives up 4 runs or just 2, because the runners on base are Feldman's responsibility, second and third. That is Nick Swisher against Doug Mathis.
Rangers going to play the infield halfway.
You surprised at that?
They're feeling like the way AJ is throwing the ball right now, they can't give up too many more runs. But with Posada at third base, they probably don't even have to play that far up. This ground ball, they'd have a play at home plate.
Now, we told you that Posada's single was his 1,500th hit. He's just the 4th Yankees whose primary position was catcher to reach that plateau. Yogi Berra, Bill Dickey, and Thurman Munson.
Nice company.
The 1-1. High fly ball. Shallow left. Posada will not be able to score on this. He doesn't even try. Hamilton has a good arm. Swisher flies out for the second out.
Nice job by Mathis. He's known as a sinker slider guy. He dropped a nice curveball to Nick Swisher, got him to work underneath it.
Brett Gardner, that infield hit in the second inning, really pushed the pitching counter, because after that, Feldman really had to work. That would have been the third out of the inning, as John mentioned. Mathis deals low. So now the infield could back up at shortstop and second. They play in at the corners because of Gardner's speed.
Brett Gardner, I mean, you're facing Mathis. He's got a good sinking fastball. You just stay on it the other way. Even if you hit it on the ground, you have a chance. So Michael Young playing up on the grass, respecting the speed of Brett Gardner. Possibility of a 2-out bunt. With Brett, you got to just start thinking about slapping a line drive right by him with Derek Jeter on deck.
And he slaps it that way. Let's see if this is a base hit. It's a base hit. Posada scores, RBI single for Gardner. Yankees lead 3-0. And a good call, John.
We just like the matchup all the way there with the sinker baller Mathis and Young playing in on the grass. You could just hit a ground ball the other way, and Anderson gets off a good strong throw. It's up the line a little bit. And anytime Brett Gardner does this and gets it past the third baseman, he has a chance for an infield hit, and he picks up an RBI, a 2-out RBI. Gotta love those. Sinker, stay on it, slap it the other way, use your speed.
So Gardner 2 for 2. He hasn't hit the ball very hard, but still 2 for 2. And now he's a threat to go with Derek Jeter at the plate. Granderson is at third. The Yankees have pulled this double steal before. They did it in Boston. There goes Gardner. They throw through, and they throw into center field. So Granderson scores, and the Yankees lead 4-0. Sloppy baseball by the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through the second game of this series, and we can see why the Rangers, if 500 ball club coming in, should be a lot better. Have not played good defense. Gardner gets a decent jump and looks in. Teagarden, the catcher, just rushes his throw, and you got to start thinking with Granderson at third, he doesn't even look down there. I mean, he goes for the play at second base, and you can see Brett Gardner was going to hold up. He wanted to get in a rundown so Curtis Granderson would have the chance to score. But the Rangers defense again makes it easy.
And that's the same set play they used in Boston, John, where they stopped right at, I think Derek Jeter was the first base runner in Boston, and he just stopped. And it was Gardner that scored.
It would be a stolen base and an error on Teagarden, but I'm shocked. I mean, with the speed on the bases, first and third, for Teagarden not even to look down at third base. I know he's a good thrower. You can see that play coming.
So the stolen bases for Gardner, and Granderson will score on the E2 as the throw went into center field. It almost seemed like they had their signals crossed. Is he supposed to throw through? Because it didn't seem, I guess it was Arias covering, didn't seem like he was expecting to throw.
It looked like Teagarden was thinking all the way through. He didn't even glance at Curtis Granderson.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back, Hamilton, still back. See ya! A bullet home run for Derek Jeter. A 2-run shot into the seats and left, and the Yankees lead 6-0.
Be his third home run of the year for Derek Jeter. He gets a sinker on the inner half and just smokes it to left field.
And here is the Coors Light cold hard blast. That's rare to see Derek hit home runs there, but boy, it went out in a hurry.
And you love what the Yankees did in this inning. I mean, with Brett Gardner 2 out, slapping it the other way, and then Derek Jeter finishes it off with 2-out bomb.
Nick Johnson down in the count, 0-2.
Having some flashbacks here, Michael. I mean, some of the tough teams that you competed against in my career, and the Angels come to mind. They were always such a good team with 2 outs. You really had to earn that last out, and we're seeing that from the Yankees early on this year. You're an opposing pitcher. You have to finish off the inning.
And that inning is finished off by Nick Johnson looking at a called 3rd strike. But the Yankees score 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and nobody left. After 3 eventful innings of play, it's the Yankees 6 and the Texas Rangers nothing. First quit line quiz. Who are the only 2 players in Major League Baseball history to have at least 1,000 hits in both the National League and the American League? Good question. We'll find out the answer in the bottom of the 4th inning. I think Nick Johnson just got sunglasses from the ball boy. I guess he's expecting the sun to pop out. Nick Swisher, should I say, not Nick Johnson. There's Nick putting him on now. Nick Johnson's a DH. He doesn't need sunglasses.
But the forecast, I didn't think any of the outfielders would need their sunglasses today, but it looks like it's clearing up a little bit.
Well, A.J. Burnett has a nice lead now with which to work, 6-0. And he starts off Hamilton with a fastball outside. Well, 6 runs with A.J. should be safe. Last year he was 9-0 when the Yankees scored 6 or more runs for him.
If you're any pitcher, you'd love getting 6 runs early in a ball game to work with, but you really got to keep your focus and keep your game plan. Whatever Jorge Posada and A.J. talked about before the game, stick with it. Kind of try to talk yourself into maybe it's a 1-0 game. Not easy to do.
One, 2. Count 2-2. Hamilton, Guerrero, and Cruz in the 4th. Fouled off in front of the plate.
Well, that'll be a fun middle of the lineup to pay attention to through the year if they stay healthy. Hamilton had his injuries last year. Vladimir Guerrero, the same thing with the Angels. Nelson Cruz kind of coming into his own. A tough middle of the lineup to navigate if you're an opposing pitcher.
And the 2-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, said Tim Timmons. So the count full of 3-2.
Get a good look here from Josh Hamilton. Definitely held up his swing.
And the full count delivery. Grounded softly to 3rd. Alex Rodriguez right there. And there's 1 away. That's going to bring up Vlad Guerrero. Now, the Angels were just in town, and talking to people around the Angels, they say that Guerrero's going to be missed in the lineup, but he's more going to be missed for what he means to the young Latin players on the team. And not so much Vlad, but Vlad lives with his mom. And he would take all the Latin players home after each game, and his mom would cook them dinner. And they felt comfortable and they felt secure, and that's no longer there. So Guerrero now at the Texas Rangers, and the Angels miss his bat, but the the younger Latin players also miss his mom.
A little rice and beans.
This guy has put together some resume. 15 seasons in the big leagues with Montreal, the Angels, and the Rangers. 8-time All-Star. Won the MVP in 2004. Look at the career average, 322. Boy, you look at that. He's a Hall of Famer. And you don't think of him in that way, but those
no, you don't. You don't think of him that way, and the numbers just jump out at you. You're right.
It's funny. I just read that, and I had never even thought, gee, Vlad Guerrero's a Hall of Famer. A 322 lifetime batting average and won a world championship, an MVP. He's up there.
You got to figure if he can stay healthy, hitting in that ballpark in Texas should put up some big numbers. Add to that resume. Greatest places to hit, Arlington, Texas. Ball flies out of there, especially to right center.
I have to correct myself, John. He was not with the 2002 Angels. He was still with the Expos then, so he's yet to win a championship.
Shows you how good A.J. Burnett's fastball is. A 2-0 count, throws it by one of the hottest hitters early on this year. Nelson Cruz just challenged him and beat him. A.J. had a nice little action on that two-seamer there. We'll take a look at the motion. Sometimes A.J. gets a problem where he rotates a little bit too much back towards second base, and then he's got to fly open. That looks pretty good. That's together. Good location with that pitch.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Strong inning for A.J. Burnett. 2 ground balls to third and a strikeout of Nelson Cruz as the Yankees see the Angels go down in order. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 6-0 Bombers. 3 more spots for 3 more world championships to make it an even 30. Out there on the wall in right center field, Mark Teixeira against Doug Mathis. It's 1-0. Yankees lead 6-0. Teixeira with an infield broken bat RBI single in the second. Could that have snapped him out of it? Grounded foul. Saturday's a big day for him. All of his hits come on Saturdays. He's got 4 this year, 3 last Saturday, and 1 today. The good thing about slumping early, though, is if you have a 5-for-5 game or a 4-for-4 game, things look completely different when you wake up tomorrow morning. You can really jump your average quickly. That one's popped up. Michael Young. And 1 out. Time for the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz question. See the question one more time. Who are the only 2 players in Major League Baseball history to have at least 1,000 hits in both the NL and the AL? Vlad Guerrero and Dave Winfield. Vlad in good company. Here's Rodriguez. And a strike.
Yeah, Michael, you bring up a good point with Mark Teixeira that if you struggle early and you go 5-for-5, your average is going to jump. But I'll argue the other way. It's not fun looking up at that scoreboard and you see 105. And I know he's not going to end up there, but if you struggle later on in the year and you get off to a good start, you don't notice it as much because you're still hitting 250, 270. Not fun for any player, especially a guy like Mark, to look up at the scoreboard and see your batting average on the interstate.
The thing that's better for a player that's going through those struggles in this ballpark, John, that one's given out to deep right center field. Going back, Cruz, looking up. See ya! Alex Rodriguez, his first home run of the season, his 584th in his career, and he moves past Mark McGwire for sole possession of 8th place on baseball's all-time home run list. 7-0 Yankees.
We talked about it earlier. When Alex Rodriguez hits his home runs, they seem to come in bunches. And a good sign, obviously, getting number 1 out of the way, but even better, hitting it to right center field. Has incredible power that way if he just stays with that swing. See the teammates. Tex loves it. First one of the year for Alex Rodriguez. Pay attention here in the next week to see if he hits a couple of more. Usually he hits them in bunches.
And that was in his 42nd at bat of the season. There's a strike. And there he is on the all-time home run list. He's number 8. Next up is the great Frank Robinson. So Alex will definitely get to 600 this year. Let's see that list one more time, can we? Just want to see what's realistic for him to pass this year. We'll get that up in just a moment. Let's see. I guess Griffey. Well, Griffey's not going to stay still at 630. But he'd have to have 47 to get to, or 46 more to get to 630. Right in on the hands, and Cano trying to get out of the way, grounds it back to the mound.
Got to be a sense of relief for Alex Rodriguez. Get that first one out of the way. Now you filled up that column. Now you look to add on.
Anyway, I was saying about the scoreboard at the new ballpark, there's so much information up there that the number, your average, does not jump out at you. You really have to look for it. So Posada's hitting 387, and you have to look, it's over here. Pitches inside. But in the old scoreboard, if you remember the one in center field, there's a 387. But the one in center field in the old scoreboard, it used to be a big block letter, so when you were slumping, you knew exactly what you were hitting.
I came into the old Yankee Stadium, I think in May, and I was still hitting about 187, and you're right, it just jumped out at you. You couldn't get away from it when you stood in the box and looked out to center field.
And you all know the scoreboard we're talking about from the old place. That was when Reggie hit the home runs in that World Series. It said Reggie on it, Reggie, but that's where they put the average, the RBIs, and the home runs, and they were in big, big letters and numbers. Posada grounds one to second. Arias bobbles, stays with it, and that'll do it. But Alex Rodriguez finally gets off the schneid home run wise. There it goes. And he passes Mark McGwire, and the Yankees lead this one 7-0.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bob. Here on the Acela scoreboard, top of the 5th inning, Yankees lead the Rangers 7-0. A.J. Burnett has pitched very, very well. And Scott Feldman, the ace of the Rangers, didn't get roughed around so much as he just got outweighted. The Yankees made him work and work and work, and he had thrown 73 pitches before they took him out in the 3rd inning. So Chris Davis will lead off here in the 5th against A.J. Burnett. And again, the weather is held up for the Yankees, and they get through this inning. It's an official game. Davis rifles one to left field. Gardner can't get there, and he's going to have to play it off the wall. Davis will chug into second with a leadoff double.
We expect the Rangers to be aggressive now behind 7-0. AJ comes in there with a first pitch fastball, and Davis just extends and drives it the other way. Ball jumps off his bat. He's got plenty of power, but he strikes out a lot. It's shortened that swing a little bit. I always thought these were the toughest 3 outs to get, Michael, for a starting pitcher. When you're up by 7 and you're having a relatively easy ball game, you know, if you get through the 5th inning in line for a win, you really got to bear down in this 5th.
And the pitch to Joaquin Arias is high.
Arias hitting .429, kind of holding the fort until Ian Kinsler comes back off the disabled list.
64 pitches. Pretty good shape here in the 5th inning.
Joe Girardi admitted that his team caught a little bit of a break yesterday with the rain out, or the rain shortened game, because they never had to use anybody out of the bullpen. They got a complete game after 6 innings, so they didn't have to extend their starter through 9. Their starter gave them a solid 6, and then the game was over, and they never had to use anybody out of the bullpen. Line drive, a base hit to center field. Chris Davis will just go to third. For Arias, it's a 7-game hitting streak with that single. Today, after the postgame, they were cool under pressure with an unshakable confidence. Now 3 legendary New York closers share their tales of glory in the newest Yogi Berra Museum special. Goose Gossage, John Franco, and Mariano Rivera are closers today after the postgame, only on Yes. Well, here is Taylor Teagarden, who walked in the 3rd inning. He is 0 for 16 this year with 11 strikeouts.
Well, obviously the Yankees have a 7-0 lead. AJ would trade that run Davis at third base for an out here. You talked about Teagarden had a tough time early on this season. Start thinking about possibility of a strikeout, maybe a double play, try to limit the damage. But it goes through the starting pitcher's mind, Michael. I remember dealing with guys with a big lead, and they say, I just got to get through this 5th inning. I have to get through this 5th inning. Get yourself in line for a win. Got to keep your focus. See Jorge Posada trying to get him through this inning.
Davis is at third and Arias at first. Also down 7-0. It takes a lot of the aggressiveness away on the bases. You got to play base to base. Can't waste an out. Trying to move up. Look at the numbers here. First 6 innings against Boston, 9 hits and 6 runs. In the last 10 innings, it's 7 hits and no runs. So one of those 6 innings is 1 inning in Tampa, and then after that he's really settled down. Swing and a miss.
You can see Teagarden's a little late on that fastball. If you're AJ, you got to read the swings there. I mean, I know it's tempting to go with a curveball here for the strikeout. This fastball is by him. I know exactly how that feels. Got off to a tough start this year, late on the fastball, ahead of the off-speed pitch.
And the 1-2. One with the fastball, this one fouled back.
A little better swing. Got it going a little bit quicker. You see, pay attention here if AJ read the swing. 70 pitches, 44 strikes, 26 balls. See Taylor Teagarden just gets it going a little bit earlier. I'm sure being a catcher, he realized AJ would probably come with another fastball. Now there's some doubt. Put a decent swing on the fastball, probably going to get the curve.
Teagarden, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. You know, when Salto LaMaggia gets back and Teagarden's the backup, That's about as many letters as you could possibly have for 2 catchers on a team.
Got to be honest with you, I had a tough time with Saltalamacchia last year in Texas. I did that series. Really was not disappointed. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's on the DL, but I didn't have to worry about saying his name for 3 days.
Kind of like flows off the tongue, though, once you get it. Saltalamacchia.
Well, obviously at Fordham, they work on that a little bit more than I did at GW because it just never rolled off of my tongue last year.
Three-two count on Teagarden. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. Went upstairs with the fastball. 5th strikeout for Burnett. First out of this inning.
Like there was a little more on this fastball. I mean, right down the middle, just throws it right by him. A 3-2 count does not play any games.
Here's Elvis Andrus. Elvis 9 for his last 22. Count 1-1. Ron Washington wanting to get his team off to a good start. You know, they come up with those lists, all the people on the web and the columnists, managers on the hot seat. And they say that Washington would be on the hot seat with a bad start. Jerry Manuel of the Mets, Dave Tremblay of the Orioles. Those are guys that would be on the hot seat. And Washington's more on the hot seat too because of what happened last year with the failed drug test and then the revelation that it happened this spring, but the Rangers hung with him and the players have bonded together for him. But only winning keeps your job after that.
Well, Ron has a great reputation as being a fantastic infield instructor with the Oakland A's. All those years they had what, Chavez won a Gold Glove, and he praised Ron Washington for the work that he did out there. It's got to drive him crazy watching the Rangers early this year, not getting the job done defensively.
You mentioned the Chavez Gold Gloves that he won at third. He gave Washington so much credit, he actually gave him one of the Gold Gloves. Well, the president of the Rangers certainly not making it any easier on the team or the manager. He said that this team right now is a 92-win team. Well, at this point, they're an 81-win team because they're 5-5. But they have to play better defense, especially a team that's built around pitching. You know, you have to maximize your outs. They're going to score runs, obviously, in Texas. But when you got good pitching, you don't want your pitchers to overwork because you're not making the plays behind them. 3-1. 3-2.
AJ's had a good fastball all day and some hitters counts. He's throwing the ball right by these Texas Rangers. There, a 3-1 count, pretty much middle with a little bit of movement. Seen that all day.
And he walked him, so the bases are loaded. And this is not the guy the Rangers want up with the bases loaded. Julio Bourbon, who's 0 for 2. And his average on the season is 0.91.
Be tough for the Yankees to turn a double play. Bourbon runs well. Have to be a hard ground ball.
It's a pop-up. Nobody comes home on this. Infield fly rule was called, and there's 2 away. So now they have to navigate through Michael Young to get out of this jam.
Michael Young, always a tough hitter. He's gotten off to a slow start. He does have the 2 home runs and the 5 RBIs, but the batting average at 220. You know that's going to improve. He does a good job in RBI situations going the other way. See if AJ would try to crowd him a little bit in on his hands this at bat.
Breaking ball. Michael Young was featured in an interview with Kim Jones on our batting practice show today. There's his resume. 11 big league season, 6-time All-Star. Won the Gold Glove as a shortstop in 08. His idol in baseball growing up, Donald Arthur Mattingly.
Good one to have.
His best friend in baseball, Vernon Wells. And Vernon actually named his second son after Michael, Julian Michael Wells. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So AJ's in a hole now, bases loaded, 2-0 count, 2 outs. And he's going to get out of trouble. Fly ball right field. Swisher is there, and that will do it. So A.J. Burnett works into and out of trouble. It's an official game. The Rangers leave the bases loaded. We're halfway through. Yankees up by 7.
Hey, buddy. What are those?
Your zeros.
What are they for?
They're for the thing. Really big thing.
Oh, right. The big thing. Where am I going to put them?
You could put them in front.
For the first time ever, lease a Honda Accord for 0 down payment and 0 due at signing.
It's called the really big thing, only at your Honda dealer.
Stop smoking now, and in 24 hours, your chance of a heart attack drops. In 3 weeks, your lung function improves, and in 1 year, your risk of heart disease is cut in half. Call for free help. The New York State Smokers Quit Line, 1-866-NY-QUITS.
Forward faster, never looking back, going up, going down, to the top and to the track.
The energy drink for your feet. ZigTech. I get more train, less pain.
.com/media guide. I don't know if we could do the games without the media guide.
No, we definitely can't. Well, you probably could. I mean, you store it all up there.
You're saying it's a big head.
There's a lot of storage space.
Acela Express. It's 7-0. Curtis Granderson grounds one in the hole, and it's a base hit. He took the same route as Gardner did earlier, John. You hit the ball there to the left side. You're fast out of the lefty batter's box. You got a chance.
Well, and Andrus goes to his right, and he does a nice job backhanding, but he couldn't find a grip to come up with a throw. We'll watch Curtis getting out of the box. Pretty good shape. It must be nice just to slap it the other way and pick yourself up an infield base hit. Can't help but think about Mark Teixeira when he looks out there and sees Curtis Granderson slap one the other way, base hit. Brett Gardner slap one the other way, base hit, RBI. Slump proof.
It kind of makes you almost slump proof, doesn't it? Speed never goes into slumps. Pull that from my baseball cliche guy. Count 1-1. Oh, that is a little Yankee fan.
Look at those eyes. Very content.
I haven't had that look for a long time. go to first, and Granderson's back. Swisher today struck out looking, and a fly ball to left. That one's driven to left field. Boy, does Hamilton play a shallow left field. He has to really track back to make that play for the first out. Time for another look at today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, which of the 4 current Rangers acquired in the Teixeira trade with the Braves will have the best career? You've been texting us at 58772. And here's how you voted. 36% think it's Neftali Feliz, who's now the closer. Boy, he throws hard. Elvis Andrus is next. Salta Lamakia is third. And Matt Harrison is fourth.
Well, Andrus is going to have a nice career. I mean, he had a nice year last year, his first year playing every day, playing shortstop. Expect him to get better.
Two singles for Brett Gardner, 2-run scored, a stolen base, and an RBI. And the ball has not left the infield.
Came into the game hitting 217. Now he's up to 280 with those 2 infield base hits. I'm a little surprised, Michael, Brett Gardner not getting the everyday reps in left field coming out of spring training. And Marcus Timms has done a nice job.
Let's even get another hit of this sort. Yes, he does. What would you say if you strung together all of the hits, 150 feet?
Well, even Brett's going to get a little chuckle out of this, and Mathis does a nice job coming up with it and the strong throw, and Brett Gardner just beats it out by a half a step.
Let's take a look at the IOTV HD Super Shot. Oh, yeah.
But I just can't get out of my head that Mark Teixeira's got to be sitting in that dugout saying, I can't believe I'm wide. He's 3 for 3, hasn't hit a ball out of the infield. That's his game, obviously. Right off a home plate. Big high chop. Mathis does all that he can do, but there's too much speed for Brett Gardner.
Here's Derek Jeter with runners on first and second with 1 out. Derek's 2 for 3. Had a home run his last time up. 3rd home run of the year. And he hit his 3rd home run in 09 on, let's see, April 17th. So the captain is consistent. Count 1-1.
On the 3rd inning, Derek gets a fastball in the inner half. A few times a year that he actually tries to drive the ball to left field. Usually stays inside and powers it to right center.
Ground ball left side, smothered there by Andrus. Everybody is safe. 3rd hit for Jeter, and the Yankees have the bases loaded.
Well, nice job by Andrus going to his right. He saves a run here, just knocking it down. Derek Jeter picks up another base hit. There was going to be no play either way, but he does a nice job just knocking it down, keeping it in the infield, holding Curtis Granderson to 3rd base.
Frustrating 2 days in New York right now for Ron Washington. Here's Nick Johnson. With the bases loaded in the 2nd inning, Nick Johnson worked the walk. 3rd base umpire Tim Timmons said that he checked his swing, so the count 1-0. Yankees have 5 infield hits today, and all 3 runners on base. Infield hits this inning. Strike. Count 1-1. Well, they had a terrible game, the Rangers did, their final game in Cleveland before coming to New York. They booted that one away. Sloppy defense yesterday didn't help. And today, the same deal.
Mathis has a good matchup here if he can get Nick Johnson to hit a ground ball. Possibility of a double play to get out of the inning. The only problem with that, Nick usually drives the ball the other way, stays on the two-seamer. Good hitters count here 2-1.
Shattered bat. Let's see if they can turn two. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. So the Yankees, no runs, 3 infield hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We played 5, 7-0 Yanks.
It's not too late to take 10 minutes and answer 10 questions to help our community get what it needs for the next, 10 years. Fill it out and mail it back today. 2010 Census.
6.
When you fly to New York, don't wait in a taxi line. Simply call the 77s of Dial 7 Car and Limousine Service. We'll pick you up outside of baggage claim and take you to your destination in style. If you need more space, dial 7s for a minivan or limousine. We've got a bold new look, and we're the best ride in town. The 77s of Dial 7 Car and Limousine Service. 777-7777.
Time to take the show on the road. It's the 2010 GMC lineup. Now qualified lessees can get a low mileage lease on the 2010 GMC Acadia for just $359 per month. See dealer for details. And meet the all-new 2010 GMC Terrain, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. We brought the auto show to the showroom, so you can take it home. See your Tri-State Buick GMC dealer.
You value your friends. So does DirecTV. Meg's worth 100. So are Mike, Carol, Bob, Jim, and Kay. For every friend you refer to DirecTV, you get $100, and they get $100 on top of our best national offer. Just give your account number to your friends and have them call 1-877-4-100 each. They must have your account number when they order. Refer up to 10 people and get $1,000 a year. Then celebrate and watch the Benjamins stack up.
Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World and by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. 5 innings in the books here at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees are leading this one 7-0. Yankees looking to win their 4th straight series. And Josh Hamilton will lead off. It'll be Hamilton, Guerrero, and Nelson Cruz against A.J. Burnett. High fly ball, left field. Gardner drifts back. Wynn takes it just a bit, and he puts it away for the first out of the 6th. Let's check in with Bob Lorenz back in our Yes Network studios. Bob?
Michael, thanks. Let's take you to Target Field. Royals and Twins tied at 5, bottom of the 7th, and Orlando Hudson greets John Parrish with that. A blast out to left off the second deck. His first homer of the year. Now the Twins are on top, 6-5. Michael?
Thank you, Bob. 7-0 right here. Yankees over Texas. And the pitch is low to Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero 0 for 2 with 2 ground balls to A-Rod. And a strike, count 1-1. Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit under the glove of Burnett, under the glove of Cano, and Guerrero picks up a single.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero drives it right back up the middle, right underneath the glove of A.J., out of the reach of Robinson Cano. The 4th hit of the afternoon for the Texas Rangers. Michael, I was thinking A.J. has thrown the ball so well today, and a lot was made in spring training about that changeup being a weapon for him. This is the perfect ball game to start throwing some changeups. You're up 7-0 here in the 6th inning. Haven't seen any today that I've recognized.
John, I'm so glad you brought that up, because all we do is talk in spring training about things that guys are working on. And then they never, ever pitch like that in the season. I mean, these games mean so much. They're going to break out a pitch that they don't feel great about, no matter how much they throw it in spring training.
Yeah, it's tough to throw at first game against the Boston Red Sox, obviously in that rivalry. And then you go to Tampa, one of the best teams in the American League East. And I think A.J. threw 4 in that ball game. Here's a perfect spot. You're up 7-0. Let's work on it and see if it's going to become a weapon. I agree with you. He doesn't need a changeup. It would be a nice luxury to have it, but he doesn't need it.
No, we also heard about Phil Hughes, and that's the reason he got the 5th spot. He could throw the changeup. The other day, hardly threw changeup. They get 2.
That's his first start. You know,
right.
I know what you're saying. I agree with you. And also from a catching standpoint, you hate to call a guy's worst pitch in a big spot and get beat with it. So you really got to find the time to call it.
It almost seems like you have to put a lot of thought and effort into when is a good time to try this. And you got to try it when it's not a big spot. You're never going to throw it in a big spot because you beat yourself up if you got beaten on your 3rd pitch.
Exactly. You're never going to call it in a big spot until you've had success with it in a major league game. In a situation like this, 7-0, you know, if you have a lefty on deck, Davis, maybe some opportunities for A.J. to throw changeups.
And we've heard that throughout the years in baseball, throughout the eras. You know, Mark Wohlers, why did he let Jim Leyritz hit that home run? Why didn't he throw him a fastball? Why did he throw him a slider there in that World Series in '96? And that was a pitch that he threw a lot of. So if there's a pitch you're just developing, you're never going to feature it in the game. That pitch works for A.J. as Cruz goes down on strikes for the 3rd time. Hat trick for Nelson Cruz.
There's just been a lot of fastballs, too, that A.J. has just thrown right by him. We talked about it. Cruz, one of the hottest hitters early this year, showing some power, a lot of RBIs, but that's just good old-fashioned hardball right by him. Now here, Michael, 2 outs and you have a lefty up there. You know, maybe find some spots in this at bat to drop some changeups in. The pitch count is already at 93.
Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. So Chris Davis picks up a single. Guerrero will move the 3rd. How about this stat, John? Last year, 3.1% of A.J.'s pitches were changeups. So he threw 3 every game pretty much.
And he doesn't need it. I talked to his fastball is so good. His power curve or slider, whatever, whichever you want to call it. I mean, that's a strikeout pitch. It would be nice to have a changeup every now and again to make a hitter think about it. But he doesn't need it. It would just be a luxury, an added benefit.
And the pitch to Arias is high, 1-0. And now in 05 with the Marlins, that was his highest total for throwing a changeup. He threw it 10% of the time. And that's a field pitch, John, right? Changeup, you have to throw it a lot.
No, you do have to throw it a lot to get a feel for it. And more importantly, the confidence to throw it for a strike and a fastball count. Now if you're A.J., I mean, you're feeling pretty good about winning this ball game, but you're thinking about a shutout, a possible shutout. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs, RBI situation.
Still got that live fastball. That's worked for him all day. Has some late life on. He's not throwing 95. He's at 92, 93 all day.
Yeah, but you're right. The life is what we're seeing today. The hitters will tell you what kind of life your fastball has. The Rangers have shown us today they can't catch up.
Rangers have stranded 5 through 5. 2 runners on right here. The 2-2. Bloop. Foul territory. First base side. Teixeira makes the play. And the Rangers strand 2 more. In the 6th, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Strong performance by A.J. Burnett. Nice play by Teixeira. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
The new 2010 Range Rover Sport, powered by intelligence.
Half the calories, all the G. Half the calories, all the G.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Sting like a bee.
Half the calories, all the G. I know that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 57th President of the United States.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network.
Winner of the highest predicted residual value rating in its class, 5 years in a row. The new 2010 Range Rover Sport, powered by intelligence.
Tomorrow on an all-new WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. With 2 weeks of games under his belt, the Yankees skipper will have plenty to talk about, including the Yankees pitching staff, the upcoming West Coast swing, and who's having a hot start to the season. It's an all-new Joe Girardi Show, tomorrow at 5, only on Yes.
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Mark Teixeira leads off against Doug Mathis. Mathis entering his 3rd full inning of relief. He came on to get the final 2 outs in the 3rd inning. And the 1-0. Teixeira is 1 for 3. Had a broken bat infield RBI single in the 2nd. Also struck out and popped the 3rd. High fly ball, just missed that one. Right field, Nelson Cruz. 1 away.
Take a look, Mark Teixeira, and I mentioned he's working underneath a lot of balls there. A pitch he should be driving just underneath it a little bit. But watch the back leg. That's what you're going to pay attention to. Kevin Long said he's just dropping a little bit. You see the bat head drops, working underneath. The same thing he was doing at the beginning of last year. He'll get it straightened out.
Alex Rodriguez takes a strike. Alex hit his first home run of the year. His last time up, he's 2 for 3 today. It was a typical A-Rod home run, that great power to right center.
Yeah, pretty much right down the middle, but Alex not trying to pull, just staying inside, driving it the other way. Good sign all the way around. First home run of the year, more importantly going to right center.
Popped up on the right side and out of play. The 1-2. Fouled straight back. Tomorrow, Andy Pettit against Rich Harden. And the final game of this 3-game set. The final game of a very short homestand for the Yankees. 6 games, 3 against the Angels, 3 against the Rangers. The 1-2. Strike 3. A-Rod down looking. Painted the inside corner.
Well, Mathis, a guy who has a 2-seamer. This looked like a little cutter to the inside corner there. Just freezes Alex Rodriguez. We talk about Andy Pettit pitching tomorrow. He's been outstanding early on this year.
Robinson Cano with a 9-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 3 so far today. That one's driven out to center field. Bourbon is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning, and the Yankees retired in order for the first time this afternoon. Let's take this baby to the 7th. 7-0 Yanks. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings, didn't walk a batter. And today, A.J. Burnett has held them down as well, stranding 7 over 6 innings. And despite a pitch count closing in on 100, they haven't come out and pitched the 7.
Yeah, this is the most he has pitched this year. 94 pitches his first outing, 92 his last outing. Dave Island, Joe Girardi going to stretch A.J. Burnett out here in the 7th inning.
And Alfredo Aceves is getting ready. Get a feeling we might also get a chance to see the newest Yankee, Boone Logan, who got called up yesterday when Chan Ho Park went on the DL with a hamstring problem. Here's Taylor Teagarden, 0 for 17 so far this year with 12 strikeouts. He's 0 for 1 with a walk today. And there's a strike. Teagarden was actually the starting catcher for the 2005 national champion Texas Longhorns baseball team. So both his amateur and professional career has been spent in Texas. He just can't catch up with the fastball.
You know what? He's a guy. He's a really good catch and throw guy. Works well with his staff. But when he's going to be a backup when Saltalamacchia comes back, got a little power. I think he hit 6 home runs last year as a backup. So right now maybe overexposed a little bit playing every day.
Just missed with the fastball.
Like AJ's attitude here in the 7th inning. Pitch count over 100, but he's just going with that fastball. Looks like he's trying to finish up strong.
The 2-2. Strike 3. Teagarden strikes out again. He's 0 for 2, 0 for 18 on the season with 13 strikeouts.
Yeah, it looks like AJ's kind of smelling the finish line here. He lets his fastball go. Right on the outside corner, perfect pitch. Nice 4-seam grip. Wants to keep it true on the outer half, and he does.
There's a strike.
Kind of surprised they're letting him go here, Michael. 105 pitches now. I'm a little surprised. 105 pitches.
I am surprised. And I think that might be the last one he throws. Did I not answer you quickly enough? You seem a little chapped.
I was a little concerned.
How much do they want to stretch him out, though?
That's what I'm trying to figure this out here. 106.
I think it's 110, right?
110, 115.
Here's Bourbon. Strike. Count 1-1. Now Burnett threw 94 and he threw 92 in his first 2 starts, so certainly climbing into a territory he hasn't been in a while.
Jorge Posada took a foul ball. See where it got him. Got his left forearm and then off the side of his mask.
When you get hit as a catcher, where does it hurt the most?
That forearm's not going to feel too good right now. Anytime you get it off the back of your hand and your throwing hand, it always gives you a problem.
Just bring back good memories, John?
Yeah, right off that forearm. You'll feel that one tomorrow. And Joe Girardi said Jorge took a couple foul tips the other night that kind of had him beat up a little bit.
1-2. Now you might be wondering, what was the high pitch total last year for Burnett? 123. So he's at 110 right now. 67 strikes.
Seems to be a lot more under control with his delivery at this point this year than he was last year. A couple of walks today.
That could be a double play. There's one. There's two. So A.J. Burnett ends up throwing 111 pitches and going through 7 full. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the double play, nobody left on base. A nice scoop at the end by Mark Teixeira. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees lead 7-0, but we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now please join Kate Smith as she sings God Bless America.
Well, thank you, Bob. Here on the Verizon Wireless scoreboard, Yankees lead 7-0. It's been all Yankees, and they have not looked back. They started scoring in the 2nd inning with 2, and then 4 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th, and that's it. Third pitcher for Texas is Chris Ray. Used to close for the Orioles. Had some arm problems, but has gotten off to a decent start with Texas. 4 games, 3 in the 3rd, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And he's going to face Jorge Posada here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Posada today is 2 for 3, hitting .375, so he's gotten off to a great start. The Yankees love Chris Ray. They don't really know him, but they love when he's on the mound. 1-5 with a 9.64 ERA in 18 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 8 home runs. High fly ball, left field. Giving chase is Hamilton. 1 out.
Well, Ray's always had a good fastball, a nice split finger, but for some reason the Yankees get a good look at him. Obviously pitching with Baltimore, they saw him a lot.
Granderson 2 hits today, single and a double, and you look at those numbers, John. When you join a new team, you want to get off to a good start. You don't want to have that hanging over your head. You want to show your team and the fan base what you could do, and he's done everything he could possibly want at the beginning of the year. Home run his first at bat, first series against the Red Sox, big home run against Papelbon. He is not disappointed.
No, I think the first 3 games of the year, going up to Boston, doing what he did, I think more importantly, that's going to win you over with these Yankee fans pretty quick.
And a lot of people look at it and say, well, he's the guy replacing Johnny Damon, who was a very popular player. So if you struggle a little bit, then they're going to ride you, but he hasn't struggled at all. I mean, one of the most beloved Yankees in recent history is Tino Martinez. But when he came here in '96, he was replacing Don Mattingly, and he struggled in April, and he got booed. He got booed walking into the ballpark. He got booed all the time because he struggled right away. But he did turn it around. Count still 2-2. Which new team was the most nerve-wracking for you to join?
Oh, there was no doubt coming here to New York, being from Rockland County.
High fly ball. Cruz puts it away. Was that because it was the Yankees or it was your hometown?
It was a little bit of both, but coming to the Yankees, obviously a big deal. Hometown was a big deal, but it was nice being a backup player where you didn't have the expectations like a Curtis Granderson. It's tough to live up to. He's been solid so far early on.
Here's Nick Swisher. He is 0 for 3. Struck out looking, and then 2 fly balls to left. Nubbed in front of the plate. Teagarden gets an angle. And that's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Chris Ray as the Yankees go down in order. And we go to the 8th inning. They went down on 8 pitches, so that leads us to the 8th inning. It's 7-0 Yankees. Well, Derek Jeter getting the rest of the day off with Ramiro Pena taking over at short. I don't know, does that seem a little odd? It's only a 7-0 game.
I guess you raise an eyebrow at that one, but with 6 outs left, maybe you give Derek the last couple innings off. You hope nothing happened down there out on the field that we didn't pick up on.
Alfredo Aceves will take over for A.J. Burnett. He's already picked up 1 win. He was 10-1 last year out of the pen, the most victories of any relief pitcher in baseball. 2 games, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, no strikeouts. And Derek was also due to bat second in the 8th inning, and Derek doesn't like to give away bats. So we'll check it out, but right now we'll just assume they're giving him 2 innings off and trying to get Pena some ABs. There's Michael Young. Let's do a quick recap, John, on A.J. Burnett. What'd you think?
Well, I was actually impressed with how he kept his delivery together. And like I said, it looks like he's just more under control of what he's trying to do at this point than he was last year. I mean, he walked a couple of guys, struck out a few, but I thought all in all, he threw the ball over the plate. I guess more importantly, Jorge Posada and A.J. seem like they have a real nice relationship going.
Hot shot up the middle and threw for a base hit. So Michael Young is 2 for 4. Well, that was a big concern coming into the season. And Joe Girardi said they are going to work together. And remember, they didn't work together last year to the point that Jorge Posada did not start Game 5 of the World Series, where the Yankees could have clinched the World Series.
Yeah, and I guess the good news is we really didn't talk about it all ball game because they've had 2 good starts together. The first one in Boston wasn't great, but it was okay. Tampa was a nice start, and today was outstanding. So I guess we can put that whole situation to rest.
Strike to Josh Hamilton.
Take a look at the strikeouts for A.J. He had a good fastball all day. This is always the strikeout pitch. Nice little 2-seamer backdoor. Another fastball to Cruz. Another fastball Teagarden. Cruz had trouble all day with number 1. Location, good life.
Ground ball to Teixeira. There's one on to first. On time. Well, 7 strikeouts for Burnett, just 2 walks.
Well, Mark Teixeira had a little problem here with Young. He had to throw the ball over him, so he didn't have a lot on the throw to Pena. The return to Aceves not in time.
Here's Vladimir Guerrero. He is 1 for 3. You know, there's always a downside to all bright sides, and the fact that the Yankee starters have done such a good job of late means that you have guys in the bullpen that are a little stale. Today is the 17th, so Aceves has not pitched in 3 days. Mitre has not pitched since the 9th. Robertson a couple of days. And Vlad Guerrero walks. Take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Fios TV, Internet, and Phone. This is Beyond Cable. This is Fios. Rich Harden, when he's healthy, he's tough. 2.79 ERA. Andy Pettit has had 2 solid starts. In 12 innings, he's allowed just 1 run. 0.75 ERA. 1-0 record. Our coverage will begin at 12:30 on Yes. And about 1:07 is the first pitch. Tommaso Marte begins to throw in the Yankee bullpen.
Been impressed with Andy Pettit. Look forward to watching him tomorrow. But he had a limited spring training. Didn't have a lot of competitive innings. That has not been a factor early on, as Dave Island had a little talk with Aceves.
And the pitch to Cruz is outside. So Aceves usually has unerring control, but he's not as close to the plate as he usually is. Not missing by just a little. There's a strike. Now Cruz is thrilled that A.J. Burnett's gone. He was 0 for 3 against Burnett with 3 strikeouts.
And we saw A.J. overpower him with the fastball. Aceves, not that type of pitcher. Sneaky fast with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, but he cuts it. He's got a good curveball, nice changeup.
High fly ball, deep right center. Going back, Granderson on the track, at the wall. See ya. Home run for Nelson Cruz. He goes the other way. And just like that, the Rangers are back in it. 7th home run for Cruz, a 3-run shot. And the Yankees lead is now 7-3.
Michael, you called it perfectly. Nelson Cruz not sad to see A.J. Burnett out of this ball game. Get overpowered with A.J.'s fastball, but Aceves doesn't have the same velocity or life. Located on the outside half on the corner, this ball just kept carrying Cruz. Be his 7th home run of the year, 15th RBI.
Well, Joe Girardi's going to quickly go to the bullpen again. Going to call on Marte to face Chris Davis. 3-run home run for Cruz, his 7th of the year.
The new 2010 Elantra should make you think Hyundai, but act now. Think class-leading interior space, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best warranty. Think efficiency. The Elantra gets 35 miles per gallon. From Hyundai, America's most fuel-efficient automaker. Think savings. Lease the Elantra for just $159 a month. Don't just think about it. Act now at your Hyundai dealer. For a short time, lease the 2010 Hyundai Elantra for just $159 a month.
I've had home runs, more than 1,000 hits in each league, and it was incorrectly worded. What we really meant was 1,000 hits or more for one team in each league, and that would be Guerrero and Winfield. But when you just say 1,000 hits or more in each league, you also have to add Frank Robinson and Fred McGriff. So for those that were misled, we certainly apologize, and John sends out his deepest apologies.
Especially to Freddie McGriff, one of my buddies there. That's an impressive hit total for both leagues.
Marte deals to Davis. 1-0. Marte, 4 games, has yet to give up a run. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, a walk. There's a strike. Marte has that nice, easy slingshot motion, and boom, the ball is on you. So valuable for the Yankees in the postseason last year. Neutralized a lot of left-handers.
He's got a very tough delivery to pick up if you're a lefty. He almost steps across his body. And that's why he's going to be effective. But when he's going bad, he's going to have trouble with location and control.
And also, that might explain, John, why he has arm problems. Because when you throw across your body, we'll always tell someone, well, you throw across your body, you're going to get an arm injury. And you usually do. Strike 3. Davis down looking.
But when you throw across your body, you're going to have some deception. And if you're a left-hander, it's almost like he's pitching behind you. He steps right at the left-handed hitter, throws across his body, and picks up a strikeout. You see right here, he'll land somewhere over this way. I was off with my drawing there. Look at how he spins off of that front leg.
Job of getting ready. Here's Arias. How about this stat? Last year in the postseason, Marte 4 innings, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, didn't walk a batter, and all 5 of his strikeouts were in the World Series. So guys like Ryan Howard did not want to see Damaso Marte come in. Strike. And the Yankees had signed him to a big money contract over the winter, and he hardly pitched him at all during the season because he had a bad arm. Came back toward the end of September, and it was almost like a gift. High fly ball down the left field line. Giving chase is Gardner. Did he make the play? No, he did not. He had disappeared from our view, and the wall and the ball came together at the same time.
Right off the end of the glove, you could see the wall was a concern for Brett going over. Can't come up with it.
Marte thought it was out number 3. And there's padding on that wall, but if you run into that wall full speed, there's padding on concrete. You will get hurt. It doesn't give. So a 1-2 count on Arias. Lined right to Cano. He catches it in the air, and that'll do it. But for the Rangers, 3 runs on 2 hits. The big blow off the bat of Nelson Cruz leads the majors with 7 home runs. That one a 3-run shot. The final out for the WB Mason postgame. Get comprehensive highlights and analysis of this game with the Rangers. Plus, Kimberly Jones talks to the team in the clubhouse. It's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame only on Yes. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning as the Rangers creep closer thanks to Cruz's 3-run home run. Now Frank Francisco, the former closer, and I say former because of that ERA of 18, 8 hits in 3 innings. And he has lost that job to Neftali Feliz. So here he is pitching the 8th against the Yanks.
He's always had a good fastball and a nice split finger for a strikeout pitch. Check out his stuff today, see if he's lost it a little bit. Those numbers are not pretty to start out the year.
Here's Brett Gardner. The ball has not left the infield today, but he's 3 for 3. Yankees lead by 4. And the Rangers really playing close in at the corners. Both Davis and Young in on the grass. And Gardner is really not even a proficient bunter. But they're just looking for that slow roller and the chopper.
And you wonder if Andrew's playing shortstop. Maybe he's got to play in a little bit, double play depth. I mean, if Brett Gardner hits one to his right and he's back there almost on the grass, you would think Brett's going to have another infield base hit.
2-1. Tries it, but this one right at Andrus. How about Gardner, though? He made that close. Very close. Speed. Today and throughout the Yankees season on Yes, we're asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. All you have to do is text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates are number 1, A.J. Burnett, number 2, Derek Jeter, number 3, Brett Gardner, number 4, Alex Rodriguez. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. I guess there's a vote for Derek. Derek's out of the game now. This is his spot as Ramiro Pena getting an at bat. Pena came in to play shortstop, top of the 8th.
Well, like you said, Michael, we're assuming that nothing happened with Derek and that Joe Girardi just wanted to get Pena in there for the last couple innings, maybe giving him a bat. I'm sure Kim Jones working the clubhouse will find that out in our post game.
This is Pena's first AB of the year. Tough young kid playing up the bench, and I'm sure he'd rather be playing up the bench than playing every day in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. But you know, his whole life he's been an everyday player to get to this point. Last year he handled it very well, and you got to stay sharp somehow.
That's a good point. That's going to be the toughest thing for Pena being a younger player, Cervelli being a younger guy, being backups. In the beginning of the year, everything's still fresh and exciting. You get to the middle of the year and you don't have the at-bats. It's going to be tough to stay sharp. And anytime Pena gets an opportunity, he always seems to do something positive, help you win a ball game, whether it's making a play in the field, having a tough at-bat.
Got on top of that one, but a high fly ball to right field. Nelson Cruz puts it away for the second out. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. And you are watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Kimberly Jones will be working the clubhouse after the game on the WB Mason postgame show. Yankees trying to take their 4th straight series and all against formidable opponents. You look at their early schedule, you go, wow, you know, they could be 500. That's okay. Well, they're 7-3 and 3 outs away from going 8-3 against 4 very good teams. 4 teams that could make the playoffs. The Red Sox, the Rays, the Angels, and now the Rangers. And coming up next, Oakland, and that would look like an easy one when you see the schedule, but they've gotten out of the gate strong with great pitching. Andy Pettit will get the start tomorrow. And he has been solid. 6 innings each start. First one against the Red Sox, 1 run, didn't get a decision. And the last time out, the home opener, 6 shutout innings. Andy's making a strong point about not having to pitch that much in spring training. Grounded to second. Arias is there, and Frank Francisco works a solid 1-2-3 inning. Well, the Rangers are down to their final 3 outs. Java Chamberlain will try to get those outs. Well, Java Chamberlain will try to get the final 3 outs in this one. A.J. Burnett with 7 strong. Alfredo Aceves got 1 out in the 8th inning. Then Damaso Marte came on to get the final 2. And now Java Chamberlain. This will be a 6th game, full-fledged reliever, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. And the first batter he will face is David Murphy. Ron Washington thinking Taylor Teagarden is just struggling too much. 0 for 2 again today, 2 more strikeouts. So He goes to the lefty swinging Murphy. So it'll be Murphy, Andrus, and Bourbon. Count 1-0. Murphy 1 for 10 so far this year. The 1-0. There's a strike.
Murphy had 17 home runs last year, not an everyday player, so he's got some pop. Here just trying to work his way on base. Rangers just want to get back to the middle of their order if they can with some power guys, Hamilton, Guerrero, Cruz. Always seems like we're going to pay attention with velocity with Jabba when he comes in. 90 miles an hour there with the fastball.
Two-one. Rip foul. Mike DeMuro, the first base ump, had to jump out of the way of that one. Jabba's average velocity thus far in 2010 has been 93 miles an hour. His high point was that game against the Red Sox. He came in and he was dealing. I think he struck out Adrian Beltre on a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball, then struck out J.D. Drew on an 87 mile an hour slider. That was the best that he's looked.
Yeah, the slider was devastating, and I had a chance to talk to Jeff Nelson, the Yankee reliever for all those great years, and at the welcome home dinner actually, Michael, and he said, you know, worry about Jabba's velocity at the end of April. He always felt like it took him a while through that first couple of weeks of the season really to get where he wanted to be. Especially Jabba making that transition back from a starter to a reliever.
The 2-2. Grounded to first. Teixeira will take it himself. Beats Murphy to the bag. And there's one away. Time now to take a look at the Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, Alex Rodriguez is responsible for the Land Rover drive of the game. It's his first home run of the year. He drills it out to right center. Yankee teammates are happy. A big smile on Joe Girardi's face. Your Land Rover drive of the game.
So Alex with his first home run. It took him 42 at-bats to get it. One of the longest season-opening schnides of his career when it comes to power. Here's Elvis Andrus. There's a strike. Jabba came up in 07, burst upon the scene, hit 100 miles per hour on the board a couple of times. His average fastball in 07 was 97. In 08, it was 95. Last year as a starter, exclusively except for the final game where he relieved, 92.5. And in 10 games so far, or in the game so far in 2010, 93. Could have had a save the other day, but Derek Jeter couldn't handle a ball that he would normally handle. I put 2 runners on. They brought in Mariano to get the final out.
You know, Michael, you talk about that velocity. Obviously 97, what it does is it gives you a little room for error. You don't have to be perfect with your location. I mean, Jabba could be a very effective pitcher at 92, 93 as long as he locates. He doesn't have a lot of movement with that fastball. That's the difference. You wonder maybe as he progresses he gets a little two-seamer.
There's a breaking ball upstairs.
Take a look on a 2-1 count. A 4-run lead. He goes with the slider up in the zone a little bit.
scored a fastball right over. He's not cracking 90 today. That seems to be his high point. So 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but that seems plenty fast enough. That tail back over the outside corner.
As long as you hit that spot right there, I mean, that just nips the corner and it's down.
And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. There's that breaking ball. And the Rangers down to their final out.
Jabba loves that 3-2 slider. He gets a young hitter and Andrus to swing and miss at ball 4. You expect in a 4-run game you're going to get a fastball in that count. He goes with the slider and he picks up a strikeout.
And here's Julio Bourbon. And a strike. Bourbon 0 for 4. Loving that breaking ball today.
Back door there. Nice location. Seen Bourbon. He's been jammed all day with a fastball. We'll see if Jabba wants to go that route.
No, here's not when Jabba would go back to the bullpen and just come in, breathe, and fire. But in this inning, Johnny's actually pitching. Got a full arsenal working. Maybe he realizes, and Posada realizes, he doesn't have that real live fastball. So they're changing speeds. Dad Harlan is here with his son all week.
And you know what, Michael, no coincidence that up in that game at Fenway Park, he was pumped up. I mean, the adrenaline gets going in that game. Here, it's a 4-run lead. Not as tense.
1-2. He actually remarked after one of the games in Tampa, I think he pitched and didn't pitch that great. And talking to nobody in particular, he was walking to the bus. He said, "Can we get in a close game here?" So I think that does bring you to another level if you're in a close game.
Well, we see it all the time with some of the great closers. You know, they come in a game where it's a 1-run game. They have their best stuff. They're locked in. A lot of intensity.
And the 1-2. Fly ball, left side, giving chase is Gardner. He runs out of room. Final game of this set tomorrow. We'll be on there at 12:30 with our pregame and 107 first pitch. Rich Harden for the Rangers, Andy Pettit for the Yankees. And one more out, the Yankees will be going for a sweep tomorrow. The 1-2. He struck him out. A 1-2-3 inning for Jabba Chamberlain. And the Yankees have a fairly clean 7-3 victory, and they've won their 4th straight series right out of the gate. So Jabba gets the final 3 outs, and Harlan's loving it. Wearing the World Series ring that his son won last year. Another breaking ball as he got him. And Harlan watches that last pitch and feeling good about his son, striking out 2 in the 9th inning. And right now the Yankees have to feel good on all cylinders, John, because still we haven't seen Teixeira hit and Alex Rodriguez just his first home run, and they're 8-3.
Well, I think more importantly, 4 out of their 5 starters throwing the ball well right now. They got to get Javi Vasquez going at some point.
Hey, got to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. Maybe it could actually be the person that Kimberly Jones is going to talk to. You don't never know. I mean, but you have to stick around for the postgame to find out. Yankees win this 7-3, 7-13-0, leading 3-8-1. And with Kim Jones is the Yankee third baseman, Alex Rodriguez.
Yes, Michael, he's getting some love from Kevin Long. Alex, let's talk about this team. 4 series in, 4 series won. You must be loving that.
Well, that's the goal all along. I mean, we want to make sure we keep playing good baseball like we did last year, trying to do the little things and win series, nothing more than that.
You hit hundreds of them. How'd the first home run of the year feel?
That one felt great. I think the whole roster has a home run, and they were all making fun of me. I thought I was going to go the whole year and not hit one.
Did it feel like a long time, 42 at-bats, or does the team winning temper all of that and you just say it'll come?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, we know what we can do. The goal is to win games, and you try to do anything you can to contribute to wins, and that's all that matters.
We saw a rain-interrupted masterpiece from CC yesterday. That seemed to be about as good as AJ's been as well. How'd you like what you saw from AJ today?
I mean, CC petted, and today AJ was outstanding. He threw the ball really well, and you know, him and Georgie had a good rhythm going, and he was dominant.
Everyone's so happy around here these days, aren't they, Alex?
Well, I think winning helps.
It does. Alex, thank you very much. Michael, back to you.
Well, thank you, Kimberly, and thank you to Alex as well. So Alex Rodriguez, with his first home run, also moves him into sole possession of 8th place on the all-time home run list. He moved past Mark McGwire. So Alex getting some love from the catcher, Jorge Posada. We'll make sense of it when we come back in a moment.